Welcome again, guys. Welcome again to another episode of the WSXN podcast, where a united Africa is an undisputed Africa. So, President Putin gave an interview, and this interview is an eye opener. We already know some of this stuff, but when they hear a heads of state confirm some of what we're saying, it helps. You know, goes a long way to show that we're not crazy and we're not conspiracy theorists. These are things that happen. Anyway, listen to the interview. It's long, but I could like a few or two, like 2 minutes, so we can pick up something that's valuable because I want to see the whole thing. But anyway, listen to this part of it and then we'll discuss it after. Boom.
There. Well, I guess there is certain bitterness when we stayed in contact directly, we spoke about this frankly. We did not go to Africa, we did not squeeze anyone out of Africa, but the Wagner Group, it started with some economic project in Syria, then it moved on to other countries, to some countries in Africa. We are supporting this group, but only from that point of view that it's a Russian group. We have not squeezed anyone out. It's just that African leaders from certain countries made agreements with the Russian economic operators. They wanted to work with them. In certain areas, they did not want to work with the French. It was not our initiative. It was an initiative from our African friends. I do not understand why should they feel bitter about anything. The so-called golden billion for centuries, for 500 years, they have practically lived off of other peoples. They were ripping apart these poor peoples, poor nations of Africa. They exploited Latin America. They exploited the countries of Asia. And of course, no one forgets this. And I have a feeling that it's not even about the leaders of these countries, even though it is a very important thing, but the common people of these countries, in their heart, they can feel what's happening. They can see our struggle for our independence, for our true sovereignty.
So, guys, there you have it. Putin stating that the French and the Europeans, the Europeans in general, the major, not all European countries, the major ones, the ones that has the power in the world, and the Americans, they are not only angry at Putin because of Ukraine. That's just excuse for them to, to test out their weapons and to pin the world against Russia, thought they could have destabilized Russia like how they did to Libya. But it backfired. Anyway, so look at it on. The French is upset as well, the Americans, because the Americans are deep in this too, but they are more hands-off. They use mercenaries to carry out their dirty deeds. Anyway, so that's the main reason we see why they don't like Russia, because France is losing out on trillions and trillions of dollars from African countries because of why? Because they are being put out basically to Africa. You have Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, Chad, Guinea. Which one I'm missing one? Is Burkina Faso, Niger, Mali, Chad, Guinea. I'm forgetting the other one. Anyway, they keep the French out. The French can no longer steal the resources. And in Niger alone, they were making almost $1 trillion off uranium, just off of uranium, not the other resources. So for sure, the amount of money they are losing now by getting kicked out. The Americans, same thing. That's why they are so quick to sanction African countries. They just did a new sanction rounds on Zimbabwe again. After Zimbabwe did all of their acts, they still turn around and still sanction Zimbabwe. Instead of lifting, they added more sanctions. So the French is documented and it's proven. This is not hearsay, this is not allegedly. The French Sarkozy, if I remember correctly, don't quote me on that, destabilized Africa, not Africa, sorry, my bad, destabilized Libya by assassinating Gaddafi and store. Remember, Gaddafi have the most gold in the world in store um in storage. Basically, he had the most gold with all the European countries combined. So that scared him, and because he wanted to do the whole gold currency, the gold dinar currency to trade with oil, that scared them. So what? They plan, they use propaganda to start and turn the citizens against Gaddafi. Then they invade, assassinate him, take over up to the day 2024. Libya cannot recover from that, what they did, that atrocities are turned on their own president. And now they are saying they are sorry, they listen to the West and turn against Gaddafi. But it's too late. You cannot bite the hand that feeds you. You kill or you help assassinate your presidents, President Gaddafi. Now they are feeling the pinch. Now they're saying, oh, we was wrong. He was right. But it's too late. Because what? The West use propaganda first. And that's what they're trying to do with Burkina Faso, Mali, the junta nations, the Sahel countries, Chad, Guinea, and all these other countries use misinformation. So even with even in South Africa, Ghana, Zimbabwe, Uganda, Namibia, Zambia. So there's multiple where they try to use misinformation up to today. That's their main go-to propaganda to destabilize a country. But it's working less and less because what? The US sanctions does not have that bite it used to have because of what? The BRICS nations and the Russians always helping out the African nations. Don't forget, keep this in mind, the Berlin Conference, which was kept in 1884 to 1885, when they divided up the 15 most powerful European countries along with the US, came together, divided up Africa, and shared amongst themselves when it comes to the resources. And then, but Russia was never there. At that Berlin Conference, Russia had no part in it. And Russia has been helping, like even South Africa since the 60s, sending in troops, arms to aid them in their struggle back then. So the Russian may not be too akin to black people as in race, but they always work with us and they do not patronize us, but they traded us. What's the word? Fair trade. Just like the Chinese. Well, the Chinese is more. The Chinese is not like the Russian. The Chinese are more. What's the word? They're more deceitful. They help, yes, but they also use underhand tactics to gain leverage in these countries. But they're still not like the European countries that enslave, steal, and resources. But they're looking out for themselves. I could understand that. So that's what it is about African leaders not to become more knowledgeable and get our African citizens now to learn the Mandarin language fluently. So when we're having trade agreements, we have someone to translate, read the fine print in all these trade agreements, so we cannot be bamboozled. Put it that way. So I'm 100% agreeing with Putin, which is not a popular thing to be saying, but and his thoughts on Africa, I'm 100% with him. Not with the whole war thing. That's a different story. But when it comes down to Africa, Putin has always been there, aiding, assisting, helping. So, hence the reason why they don't like Russia, because what? Russia held their feet to the fire to make you see what they are about. And it does prove it that you can't keep on bullying people, which is what they're doing to Africa right now, because America is trying to bully Ghana, South Africa, and Uganda because for making laws that doesn't have anything to do with them, but they're still imposing their rules and regulations on a sovereign nation on a different continent. But yet the Americans cannot, they don't know what a man or a woman is. But they want to tell a whole other continent, a whole entire continent, how to how to live, what to say, what to do, what laws to pass, while you still arguing what a man or a woman is. You see, yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Anyway, so as always, I don't know, let me know what you think about this video. If you like, share, comment, and subscribe. If not, keep me up in the comment section, let me know what's going on, and then we can talk about it. You don't know. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Boom.